have realized that I talk a lot about France on this channel because it's very important to highlight some of the atrocities that happen on the African continent. I've also realized that the world is talking a lot about Israel, it's talking a lot about Palestine, it's talking about Ukraine, but nobody talks about DRC. You know why? Because to the rest of the world, it's just some random black person dying in a country in Africa. Why should we care? I'll tell you why you should care. Because the hand of the West is in this. There are chaos in DRC. The people are not innocent, but you cannot tell me that you will fight your brother, your neighbor, your own countryman for 30 years. To what end? To what end? If you were fighting genuinely for 30 years, you run out of resources, you run out of the energy, you run out of the motivation. So why is there still violence in DRC that leads to the death of women, children, young men, and the world could not be bothered? It's not because we're Africans, it's because they have vested interest in DRC.
The Western world benefit from Congo. Now, understand that your phone and your technology will not be technology without countries like my country. For those who doesn't know, I am having a hard time having sympathy for Israel and Palestine because my country has been going through the same the last 30 plus years and nobody ever speak about it. The news does not broadcast it. People have no interest in learning or protesting about my country.
Hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of our conversations. My name is Indira Ganga. I'm a business journalist by profession and a digital content creator. I love coming on here talking to you guys about Black people that look like you and me, Africans, our empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place at the global stage. You can connect with me on social media at Indira Ganga. I am back finally to posting a little bit more actively, not to jinx it, but yes, I'm trying. And I also want to take this opportunity to say thank you for watching my content from the beginning of the year till now. To those of you that watch this video, like, share, comment, and even reach out to me privately, thank you so much. And as a gift from me to you, this December we put a pause on the politics so we can get into, you know, the festive season mood and have something special for you. I've always told you on this channel I'm very proud to be an African born and bred on the African continent, and I want to share that with you from my perspective. You know, as someone who's seen the best of both worlds, I want to show you Africa, and I'm always the first person to condemn things and they're not going great on the African continent, but I also think there's so many things here that I can share with you that are lovely, that are beautiful, that you can indulge in. So this December, stay tuned. The first country that we begin exploring is Rwanda. Now, let's get to today's video because also Rwanda is a neighbor to DRC. And DRC breaks my heart. I'll tell you a little bit. Let me humanize this, because most of the time also, when we hear about these African countries, oh, it's just always poverty, hunger, disease. Before I talk about the problems in DRC and who is behind them, let me just tell you the DRC that I know outside of the war. When I grew up, so I did my first 14 years of primary school in the city in Nairobi, and then I went to do my high school 14 to 18 in the village. And also I did 18 to 22 college campus university in another small town. And when you live outside of the city, in the city, television is really big. Now please do not take my words out of context and start saying Africans are poor. No. Just that television is the biggest medium of communication in the cities. When you go to the villages, radio is the biggest medium of communication because there's a form of intimacy that comes with radio. And in Kenya, we have like vernacular radio stations as of many other African countries that either speak English or French or Portuguese as the main national language. We have our own vernacular languages, and that's how I learned my mother tongue and my father tongue. Now, on the radio, they would play music from DRC, and it was just beautiful music, the melody, the sound, the arrangement, the vocals. And when you watched their videos, they were always dressed in beautiful African fabric. They had their makeup on, they would dance, they would whine their waist. You should go check Mbilia Bell. So this song she has, Nake Nairobi, she's dancing, you know. One time I was listening to a song on the radio and my mom was like, you know, we used to dance to that song when we were young. There was just something so beautiful about music from DRC. There's something so beautiful about the fabric that comes out of there. We call it kitenge. And it's good quality. The colors are vibrant. The people from DRC, they love life. You know, they're fashionable, they're colorful, but most importantly, they're people. And these are people who their home has been turned into a battlefield in the last 30 years. Not 5, not 10, not 20, but 30. And guess what? When conflict goes on for such a long time, people become numb, and things that are considered atrocities and violations against human rights become normal. Women are losing their lives. Children are losing their lives. People are being abused, physically abused, mentally abused, financially abused, and even sexually abused. Young men, their lives are being cut short because they have to stop school and join the wars, you know. And there's so much inequality because when you fight for that long, then there's very little time for development, and all the time that you have and resources are dedicated to fighting. And that creates a loophole of opportunity. Dr. Arikana Chihombori has spoken about this because I don't want this to be about me and my opinion because, again, who am I? I want to quote formidable people in this. Dr. Arikana Chihombori asks, why is there constant fighting in DRC? Who is funding it? Who is actually funding that war? DRC is one of the richest countries in Africa, if not the world. DRC is a country that is rich in resources. They have gold, they have diamond, they have water, they have rainforest, so adequate timber, and guess what? They have 70% of the world's cobalt resource. And this is what powers your lithium batteries, the batteries on your phones, the batteries on your cars. And so, why is it poor? And why is there fighting? Can you put 2 and 2 together? Why? You know, I have been in a room where somebody said that deals get brokered in exchange for weapons. DRC gives away its resources, and then whoever is in office gets weapons to ensure that they keep fighting. So you think that these people are your friends and they're helping you fight rebels. No. What do they give you in return? They give you some money. They allow you a visa because now your country is messed up. You can come to our country and get medical care, and your children can come and live in our country and they can get education from Europe. At what cost? At what cost? But don't take my word for it. Here is a video from somebody born in the DRC who understands what is actually going on.
I have been trying to make this video for the last like 30 minutes, and every time I start, for some reason, I just freeze. And I wanted to talk about Congo. So for those who doesn't know me, I was born and raised in Congo, and I have experienced most of the violence that is happening in Congo. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it or don't have the knowledge of what's happening, and I can completely understand why. It's because the Western world benefit from Congo. Now, understand that your phone and your technology will not be technology without countries like my country. For those who doesn't know, I am having a hard time having sympathy for Israel and Palestine because my country has been going through the same last 30 plus years and nobody ever speak about it. The news does not broadcast it. People have no interest in learning or protesting about my country. Now, you could call me cold and selfish, but I have seen a little too much of violence in my country for me to have sympathy for any other country. And if you want to come for me, please, before you do your little research so you can understand. I grew up in a war zone, so I've seen it all. I've seen all of it, from assault to children who are unalived to adults who are unalived to you name it. I've seen it all. Basically, what I've experienced in Congo is so horrific. You could make a horror movie about it. The things you do see in a horror movie, it's most of Congolese realities. It's most of families in Congo realities, the things that they're dealing with in real life. But of course, the word is silence. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. You see a glimpse of something. And if you do see something that's happening in Congo, it's always putting it back to Congolese people. But really, if you dig deep, you see that Israel, United States, England, they all have their teeth dug into Congo because of the diamond, the gold, the benzene, coltan, mineral, all that. They are benefiting from it. They are getting those resources to advance their countries. And it's very upsetting. It's very sad. But again, you're not going to hear about it unless you do your own research. So I urge you to do your research and understand, and please continue posting these videos because the world needs to know what's happening in Congo. Congo has been dealing with this for over 30 years and it's time. It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
See, this is not a matter that I will just do a video and leave it at this. I'm going to take my time and immerse myself in as much research as possible. And come next year, when we go back to making these political videos, I'm going to do a series just documenting where the conflict in Congo began, the atrocities that the Belgium committed in Congo, the effects of the ongoing fighting, the resources that DRC have and who benefit the most from them, and why is DRC still poor and in conflict. So that is a series that you can expect from me. This was just an introduction to open your eyes to the fact that while we are praying for Ukraine and marching in solidarity with Palestine, let us not forget there's a silent genocide happening in DRC Congo. And yes, they might be Black, they might be African, we might be children of a lesser God, but it doesn't make what is happening there right. Most importantly, because that violence is manufactured violence. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time.